Okay, so you want to run a car wash. You picture a bright, modern property beside a busy road. Cars turn in one after another. Drivers tap a screen, choose a wash, and roll onto the conveyor. Water arches over the paint. Brushes spin. Blowers roar. 3 minutes later, another clean vehicle exits while the next one enters. From the customer's seat, the business appears almost automatic. A machine does the work. The customer pays $15, $20, or $30. Your employees guide traffic, refill chemicals, and keep the site clean. You stand near the office, watching a line of cars become a line of card payments. It looks like a toll booth with soap. That is the version visible from the road. Your version begins when a sensor stops communicating with the pay station. It continues when a pump seal leaks, a conveyor chain slips, a customer claims a brush damaged a mirror, and the water authority sends a bill larger than expected. Payroll is due on Friday. Your loan payment is fixed. Property tax does not care whether it rained all week. You still need permits, chemicals, electricity, marketing, software, security, drainage, and replacement parts. A competitor can open nearby and offer the first month for almost nothing. One equipment failure can stop the tunnel, while every fixed expense keeps moving. The car wash is not simply a machine that turns water into money. It is a real estate decision, a subscription business, a maintenance operation, a utility consumer, and a leveraged asset sharing the same address. Get the location, pricing, membership mix, and debt structure right, and you may create durable cash flow. Get one of them badly wrong, and you can process thousands of vehicles while earning less than the manager you hired. By the end, you will know what it costs to build, where the strongest profit comes from, what can destroy the economics, somewhat a realistic good year and bad year could leave in your pocket. Before we go further, subscribe to Financial Outcomes if you want more breakdowns like this. You may never own this exact business, but learning where attractive revenue disappears can help you recognize the same financial mistake in another investment before you commit your capital. First, you must decide which car wash you are entering. A self-service wash gives customers a bay, pressure wand, soap, and timer. It can require fewer employees, but the customer controls the speed and quality. An in-bay automatic wash moves equipment around one stationary vehicle. It needs limited space, but throughput is restricted. A full-service wash adds interior cleaning and detailing. Customers spend more, but you hire more people and become more exposed to labor costs. Then there is the express exterior tunnel. Cars move continuously through a conveyor. Customers remain inside, and vacuums wait outside. The site is designed for speed, memberships, and high volume. Labor per car can be relatively low, but the property, equipment, and construction bill can be enormous. That is the model we will use. You are building one independent express tunnel in a growing suburban market. You control the brand and keep the revenue, but you also create the operating system, negotiate every supplier contract, and build trust from zero. Before the first vehicle arrives, the local government must agree that your land can support this use. You may need zoning, traffic access, building, signage, fire, business, tax, wastewater, and stormwater approvals. The difficult issue is not merely obtaining water. It is controlling where dirty water goes. Soap, grit, oil, and road residue cannot simply flow into a storm drain. Your plumbing, separators, reclaim tanks, and sewer connection must satisfy local rules. Requirements vary by country and city, especially during drought or water restrictions. You also need liability, property, equipment breakdown, workers' compensation, and vehicle damage coverage where applicable. But regulation is not the biggest barrier. The biggest barrier is location combined with capital. You need visibility, convenient entry and exit, sufficient traffic, nearby households, and room to stack vehicles without blocking the road. A cheap parcel with awkward access can be more expensive than a premium parcel, because every customer must make an inconvenient turn. Now consider what you pay before collecting $1. Assume the land costs $1,200,000. Site preparation, drainage, utility connections, concrete, and the building cost another $1,500,000. The conveyor, arches, pumps, dryers, pay stations, plate readers, reclaim system, vacuums, compressors, and software add roughly $1,350,000. Professional fees, permits, insurance deposits, opening inventory, recruitment, training, marketing, contingency, and working capital consume another $750,000. Your total project is now $4,800,000. You thought you were buying a wash tunnel. What you have actually bought is land, concrete, plumbing, electronics, rotating machinery, and a large promise that enough drivers will turn off the road. You contribute 30%, or $1,440,000. A lender provides $3,360,000. If that debt is repaid over 15 years at an assumed rate slightly above 8%, annual debt service is close to $390,000. That payment begins whether your opening month is excellent or disappointing. Your visible revenue comes from individual washes. You might offer a basic wash at $12, a mid-tier at $18, and a premium at $24. The average retail customer may spend around $18. But retail transactions are volatile. Rain can reduce demand. Winter salt can create lines in colder regions, while severe weather can close the site. Traffic changes with weekends, pay cycles, competition, and consumer confidence. The more valuable revenue is usually the monthly membership. A driver pays perhaps $25 to $40 each month for unlimited washing. Some members visit frequently. Others visit once or skip a month. The advantage is not that every member is cheap to serve. It is that payment arrives repeatedly, including during weeks when weather suppresses casual traffic. One major United States chain reported that subscription members generated more than 3/4 of its wash sales in 2025. That shows what the modern car wash is becoming. The tunnel attracts the customer, but recurring billing stabilizes the company. SEC. You can also earn from fleet accounts, prepaid books, vending, mat cleaning, premium protectants, and detailing partnerships. These streams matter, but they rarely rescue a bad location. Keep the financial distinction clear. Gross revenue is all the money customers pay. Operating profit is what remains after site-level costs. Cash flow to you comes later, after debt, taxes, and replacement spending. A site can report an attractive operating margin, while leaving surprisingly little spendable cash. Your variable costs rise as more cars enter. You use more chemicals, water, sewer capacity, electricity, and card processing services. Each additional wash can still contribute strongly because its direct cost is usually far below its selling price. Fixed and semi-fixed costs are more dangerous. You need managers and attendants even on a slow day. You pay property tax, insurance, software, security, accounting, landscaping, waste removal, and debt service. Preventive maintenance cannot be postponed forever. Neither can replacement of pumps, motors, belts, bearings, sensors, brushes, and pay station components. Water efficiency matters beyond the utility bill. A reclaim system can treat water from earlier cycles for reuse in later washes, reducing freshwater demand. It also creates another maintenance system with pits, filters, separators, and treatment components that must be cleaned and monitored. Depreciation may look like an accounting entry, but the wear is real. Your equipment is being consumed one wash at a time. If you distribute every available dollar and reserve nothing, the first major replacement becomes emergency borrowing. Now we reach the hidden profit center. It is not the premium foam arch. It is the membership relationship. A strong membership base changes forecasting, staffing, marketing, and lender confidence. You begin each month with recurring revenue rather than zero. Plate recognition reduces friction. Automatic billing supports retention. A customer who washes often sees value and becomes less likely to test a competitor over a small price difference. Memberships also help you sell unused capacity. The tunnel has high fixed costs, whether it washes 200 cars or 400, provided queues remain manageable. Recurring customers fill capacity while the incremental cost of each visit remains relatively low. But memberships are not free money. Heavy users increase utility and chemical consumption. Failed cards reduce collections. Discounts attract customers who may cancel after the promotion. Long queues can make loyal members feel they are paying for inconvenience. You must track acquisition cost, churn, visits per member, monthly price, and peak time capacity. If you are learning to follow recurring cash flow instead of visible sales, you belong with the financial outcomes community. Subscribe and continue building the habit of examining what supports the revenue, what absorbs it, and what finally reaches the owner. The second hidden source of wealth is the property. If you own a well-located parcel and the area grows, part of your return may come from land appreciation. The operation services the debt while your property equity increases. Some operators sell the real estate, release capital, and then lease the site back. That can finance expansion, but it exchanges ownership for a long fixed rent obligation. The largest financial trap is overestimating demand while using too much debt. The chain reaction is brutal. You forecast 300 cars per day, but the site produces 200. Membership growth stalls. You discount prices and spend more on advertising. Revenue falls while debt service remains fixed. To preserve cash, you delay maintenance. Wash quality becomes inconsistent. Reviews weaken, more members cancel. Then a pump fails after your reserve has already been drained. The business can look active throughout the decline. Cars are still moving. Employees are still spraying bumpers. The sign is still illuminated. But your equity is disappearing behind the building. A new competitor can accelerate the damage. Industry research entering 2026 showed steady consumer demand, but rising concern about saturation and increasing site density. National growth cannot save your intersection from 3 nearby tunnels fighting for the same drivers. Successful operators win before construction and after opening. Before construction, you study traffic, demographics, competition, and access patterns. You keep contingency in the budget and avoid debt that requires perfect performance. After opening, you manage throughput by the minute. Proper nozzle timing reduces waste. Preventive maintenance reduces closures. Clear packages improve the average ticket. Fast plate recognition prevents queues. Staff schedules follow actual traffic. Promotions are judged by retained members, not first-month signups. You protect cash reserves. You monitor chemical cost per car, labor cost per car, water per car, membership churn, retail conversion, and downtime. Now let us build your business. Your startup investment is $4,800,000. You invest $1,440,000 and borrow $3,360,000. In your first stabilized year, you average 1,800 active members paying $29 per month. That produces roughly $626,000 in annual membership revenue. You also sell 46,000 retail washes at an average of $18. That adds about $828,000. Fleet accounts, vending, premium add-ons, and other services contribute another $120,000. Total gross revenue is approximately $1,574,000. Now the money leaves. Payroll consumes about $310,000. Chemicals cost $100,000. Water and sewer cost $90,000. Electricity and gas take $85,000. Maintenance and routine repairs absorb $115,000. Card fees, software, marketing, membership administration, and customer recovery cost $105,000. Insurance, property tax, accounting, security, waste handling, landscaping, and administration require about $140,000. Your site-level operating costs total roughly $945,000. That leaves approximately $629,000 before interest, taxes, depreciation, and major replacements. On the surface, that is an impressive operating margin of about 40%. Subtract annual debt service of about $390,000. Reserve $100,000 for future equipment replacement and major repairs. You have about $139,000 before income taxes. After an assumed tax burden, perhaps $105,000 reaches you as spendable annual cash. You invested $1,440,000 of equity. Your immediate cash return is only around 7%, even though the site collected more than $1.5 million. You may also be building equity as the loan principal declines, and the land may appreciate. Those benefits are real, but they do not pay your household bills today. Now imagine a good year. Your membership base rises to $2,250. Average membership pricing reaches $30. Retail traffic reaches $52,000. Washes at $18.50. Other revenue grows to $150,000. Total revenue approaches $1,920,000. Variable costs rise and you add peak period labor, but many fixed costs barely change. Site-level operating cash profit can approach $800,000. After debt service, tax, and a larger replacement reserve, you might keep between $220,000 and $250,000. Revenue increased by about 22% from the base case, but owner cash more than doubled. That is operating leverage working in your favor. Now imagine the opposite. A competitor opens nearby. Membership falls to 1,400. Retail volume drops to 36,000 washes. You reduce prices to defend traffic. Total revenue falls to about $1,130,000. You cut overtime and marketing, but you cannot reduce the loan, insurance, property tax, management coverage, or essential maintenance. Site-level operating profit falls toward $260,000. That is already less than your annual debt service. Then a major conveyor and pump failure costs $140,000. Your annual cash deficit can exceed $250,000. The wash remains open for most of the year. Customers still see activity. You see an emergency capital injection. We are building a continuing library of business models, one set of economics at a time. Subscribe to Financial Outcomes so you can follow the series, because the next operation we examine may be the one you are currently considering. If you are not ready to subscribe, tell us in the comments what the channel would need to prove or improve before it earns your subscription. So, can running a car wash make you rich? Yes, but the tunnel alone is unlikely to do it. Real wealth usually comes from recurring memberships, disciplined margins, sensible debt, multiple successful locations, and valuable real estate. One excellent site can create a strong income and build property equity. A network of well-run sites can spread management, marketing, technology, and purchasing costs across more revenue. But scale multiplies bad assumptions too. Repeating a weak location does not create diversification. It creates several versions of the same mistake. You are most likely to succeed if you have patient capital, local knowledge, technical discipline, conservative financing, and the willingness to treat maintenance as an investment. You are most likely to fail if you are seduced by gross revenue, assume memberships never cancel, borrow against an optimistic traffic forecast, or distribute cash that should remain in the equipment reserve. The final outcome depends less on how shiny the cars look and more on the system behind them. Your customers see soap, water, speed, and convenience. You see traffic conversion, recurring billing, utility consumption, machine uptime, debt coverage, and land value. They leave with a clean car. You remain with the economics. This is Financial Outcomes. Follow the money. See the outcome.